My name is Asim Yusuf, and I'm going to say a few words about something that hopefully you guys are going to be interested in. And I'm going to be talking about the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, which is the life history of the Prophet ﷺ. Now, we often hear about the Sunnah, about Hadith and so forth. But what's really, really important is to understand that all those things that you hear, the Hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said this, or what have you, they all occurred in a context. Right? They all occurred as a part of something. There was something that happened before it, there was a Hadith, there was something that happened after it. And often when we look at the Hadith, we're not seeing the whole context. We're only seeing a snippet of a conversation. And it's a bit like if I were to show you a still image from a movie. Now, would you be able to guess what the movie was about just by seeing a still image? You wouldn't be able to. Or if I took a piece of a jigsaw puzzle and said, what do you think the picture is? So it's really important to study and to learn the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, the biography of the Prophet ﷺ. Learn about his life. Learn about the situation, the circumstances and so forth. And it's also important to learn about it in a realistic way. When I teach the biography of the Prophet ﷺ, I ask my students to imagine that they are living in that time. Because for us, the Prophet ﷺ is the Prophet ﷺ. But if you were a person living in Mecca at that time, the Prophet ﷺ would have just been another person that you knew. He would have been, maybe someone that you did business with, or maybe someone who was your neighbor. And yes, he had this, you knew that he had this beautiful character, he was really trustworthy, he was really truthful, he was really merciful, he looked after people, you knew about all that stuff. You might have seen him grow up, right? And now he's coming to you with this message. And the fact is that the companions of the Prophet, peace and blessings upon them, about whom we say that Allah is pleased with them, they were people who often, especially the ones from Mecca, they knew the Prophet ﷺ before he was announced as a prophet, and they knew him afterwards. And the disbelievers were also people, especially those in Mecca, who knew the Prophet ﷺ before, who heard the message and who refused it. The question is, what is it that made some people accept the message and some people reject the message? When both of them knew the Prophet ﷺ beforehand. Interesting to think about this. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but to give you a hint, there are qualities, there are certain attributes. The Sahaba of the Prophet, those who became Muslims, those who became believers, they had a degree of humility. They had an insight. They knew that this person was a good person. This person who was coming to them with this message was the best of them. And that helped them to take on board the message. Some of those who didn't accept the message, if you look at the reasons they didn't accept the message, and then you look at our lives, it's very interesting. Some of them didn't accept because it would have meant a big disruption to their lives. Right? So one of them would have said, well, are you saying that if I accept Islam, then my servant can stand next to me and pray? Does that mean that I have to now treat him like a human being? I don't want to treat him like a human being. And if that's what Islam means, then I don't want it. Others would say, for others it was about tribal loyalty, it was about race. They said, why don't you make this a religion just for the Quraysh? Let all the other Arabs have their own religion. Let this one be just for the Quraysh. Yeah? How come that you accept just anyone in your religion? So that was, now, we see people in our community that are a bit like that now. Yeah? That are, bound by this loyalty to their nationality or to their race or what have you. Right? Some rejected the message because of class. Some of them came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, look, we'll accept your message if you make it a religion for the elite people in society, the rich, the powerful. Because you know what? Because remember, the Arabs believed in Allah, they just believed in a whole lot of gods alongside Allah. They didn't deny Allah. But Allah was the big God, Allah was the creator God. Yeah? So they said, well, I'll tell you what, the biggest God should be for the biggest people. So I'll tell you what, you don't have all these, these poor people, widows, orphans, slaves. We don't want to have the same religion as them. We want an elite religion because we're the elite people. And the Prophet said, no, nothing doing. Some people rejected the message because of jealousy. And they said, how come the message came to you? Why didn't it come to me? Because I am like this, I am like that, I am the big chief of my tribe, I'm the richest person, whatever it happened to be. Right? And that's why some people didn't accept the messages. They were jealous. They said, well, how come you got it and we didn't get it? So this is envy. Right? There were many reasons the people didn't accept Islam. But here's the thing. They were human reasons. They were things that are common to all of us. On the side of the Sahaba, a recognition of good qualities, of good character, of beauty of conduct. A recognition that things, when someone does something beautiful, it reflects an inward beauty. But not just an inward beauty, a truth. On the side of the disbelievers, qualities like hatred, pride, conceit, jealousy, selfishness. Right? These are human virtues, human qualities. And the story of the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ becomes really interesting when you look at the people around the Prophet ﷺ, because they were human beings and they had exactly the same emotions that you have and that I have. And some of them, the emotions that conquered them, the emotions that overcame them, were good emotions, good traits that led them to Islam and made them adopt Islam in a way that no one has ever adopted Islam since. Some of them were overcome by negative emotions, negative traits that led them to reject Islam, even in the face of the perfect beauty and the perfect truthfulness and the perfect truth of the Prophet ﷺ. So when you look at people, you look at the story of the seerah, and you ask yourself, which one am I? Which one of these people am I? Which one of these people do I want to be like? Which qualities do I want to have? That's how you can really improve your relationship with the Prophet ﷺ, with your Creator, and it'll help you in the very difficult times in which we live. So it's a little thing to think about. Go study the seerah, the life story of the Prophet ﷺ, but study it in such a way that you imagine yourself there at the time. You imagine yourself as one of those people, right? And then try to mold yourself so that you are like those that accepted Islam, not like those who rejected Islam. Allah make it easy for you and for me that we all meet together on the Day of Judgment, believing in the Prophet ﷺ, drinking from the Hawd al-Kawthar, taking his hand, entering paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.